Welcome to the Screen Rock Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been written on our screens, and indeed our minds. That was kind of, there was a kind of like knowing, like, it was a bit Parkinson, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And I'm like,
Now, Muhammad Ali.
yeah. Thoughts on Muhammad Ali, man?
Well, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
I think an incredibly brave advocate for peace. And I liked it when he used to take the piss out of people in press conferences as well.
Yeah.
It's good shit, man.
Yeah, you forget that he was it's easy to forget the sort of peace thing. He really like, did a lot of that, didn't he? There's a geezer on TalkSport the other day who, like, his big thing was how he didn't like when he went from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali.
Why?
Well, and it wasn't even in like an Islamophobic way. He was just like, no, I just think he lost something, didn't he? It probably isn't in Islamophobic.
Now I think about it.
It was just mad. It was like I was listening to like the sort of like game day phone in at like 5 o'clock on a Saturday. You know,
that can get a bit trippy at times.
It's like the 3 o'clocks had just finished. You know, people are like, "What did you think of Bournemouth versus Everton?" And this guy just ran his phone up, being like, "Oi lads, what do you think about when Cassius Clay turned Muhammad Ali lost something for me?" And they were like, yeah, I don't know.
I guess. This is the thing. If you let mainly middle-aged men ring up and talk about stuff just apropos of nothing, they are liable to say some mad stuff.
The male mental health crisis of the UK is never more evident than what ends up being going into poor Jason Cundy's earphones when he does TalkSport.
What do you think about the Brentford result? Well, I just think that he lost something when he changed his name. Okay, all right, thanks for your call.
I think less people should change their names. We're going to put the phone down now. Thanks for calling, Barry.
I reckon we should treat paedophiles like dogs. What?
My word. What an episode that was last week.
Yeah, minutes ago for us, a week ago for you. But yeah, we're still riding off the zephyrs of it. Should we talk about our sponsor?
Yes, we should talk about Dents. Would you mind passing me the spray over there?
Okay,
so Dents hair loss treatments, they've been contacted. So, I've been using this for a month or so now, maybe slightly less.
And before, you looked like the white Sadio Mane, didn't you? But now, look at you.
So, it does take months for this stuff to work. Do you know? It does take months for it to like properly, you know, like blah, blah, blah. I will say I've noticed less when I get in that shower. There's hardly any hairs on the floor. But the thing is, like, this stuff, the sort of treatment spray, the minoxidil finasteride stuff that's supposed to like properly stop your hair loss and make it grow back a bit. That takes months to work. What does work immediately is the shampoo, which smells fantastic. It smells of oud, man. That's nice.
Okay.
The styling product. I don't have it on me. The styling product's in the other room, mate. It's like a kind of like dry, very dry styling clay, nice and stiff. Banging. Like best of use, I'll say.
Is
genuinely.
Dents responsible for the tash as well? Or
No.
is that... What's that? Do we want to address that?
Joe.co.uk are responsible for the tash. Yeah, I'm growing a moustache. It's like a Movember thing, but it's being filmed, and I don't mind saying, crucially, I'm being paid.
Okay. There's a little less cash in the Movember coffers this year because some of it's going to Jacob Hawley to fucking grow a tash.
The reason
you got to do this for a month.
The reason there are so many men phoning up Jason Cundy talking about Cassius Clay changing his name is because the mental health crisis is not being treated properly because I've got the Movember money. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, they're kind of cheating it.
Right.
I started growing this in October, and I think I get to shave it. We're recording first week of November.
Right.
I think I get to shave it quite soon.
Because otherwise you won't have a fiance, I don't think, for much longer.
Well, I don't really have a moustache. That's the problem.
No, it's not great.
I can't really grow one.
I'm not a big facial hair guy either, but it's really unpleasant.
Oh, yeah, it's bad. Well, mate, the thing is, everyone's complaining about it. Like, people are saying I look like shit.
Yeah.
My mates are taking the piss out of me. My missus is like, it looks and feels horrible. My kids are like, when they rub their face against mine, they're like, oh, Daddy, we don't like the beard. It's
they
like,
don't moderate what they say either, do they? So they give you both barrels. They're giving you absolute stats.
Yeah. But it is just that thing of like, so what's happened? I mean, go talk about this. The producer of this thing, it's like I've done a few bits for Joe.co.uk in the past, and they were like, "Look, fancy growing a moustache for this thing?" I was like, "Yeah, sweet, whatever." The producer's left his job and like text me, because like the thing is, I have to like text him every few days, giving like a little video update, being like, "Hey guys, I'm growing my tash for November. It's going so well." Like, some of it's so cringe. I had to be like, I had a great chat with an older guy who had a great moustache, and I was going to give up, but he spoke about his mental health, and now I'm going to keep growing my moustache.
Fucking
It's
hell.
so bad. But then the geezer, I'm like,
look what you've done, Peter Crouch. Look what you have made us do.
The geezer who's like the producer at Joe, who I'm doing it with, he like, I had to text him like a video the other day, and he was like, "Sweet, I'm actually leaving joe.co.uk today, mate. But feel free to send them on to this other bloke. And the other bloke's not text me, and I'm so tempted to be like, I might just fuck this up, but they haven't paid me yet. So
No.
I'm like,
Do keep the tash, I think. Just make sure.
mate, as soon as that cash hits my account, I'm
Bosh.
fucking getting this thing off. So yeah, good luck with Movember, anyone doing it. So yeah, that's the moustache. That's dents. Anything else we want to go? But I have to say, the last couple of episodes, I mean, I know it's me. I've got nuts in the intros. We went from a few weeks ago, it's hot. Is
Yeah,
it hot? Is
old
it
ladies.
hot?
Oh, it's hot.
You've been on holiday.
You've been on holiday. I went on holiday. It was lovely.
Whereas last week, I think I did about 7 minutes on the birth of my son.
Yeah.
But I'd say, if I'm really honest with you, what has happened a tiny bit, and you're going to get a good episode, but what has happened a tiny bit is I have kind of, I put my foot down a bit too hard on the episodes we recorded earlier. And I am crashing slightly, I would say. So after plugging dents and talking about me nicking the Movember money, I don't have much more to say in this intro. Anything you want to tick off? Anything you want to cover?
I would just like to encourage rotters out there to get in touch, suggest content creators that we should give the treatment to. There's a thing on the Spotify link. You can write it in there if you want. You can message us on Instagram.
Yeah.
This week's person who we're analysing was suggested by Phil. He sent us a message telling us to do this guy. He's a mad influencer. He's an out and out kind of influencer. That's got
Phil?
Not Phil.
No, the guy.
Only 20 minutes left. Only 20 minutes left. Go and buy a copy of the FT Weekend.
Can I just quickly say, we dedicated the last episode to there's a gag I did on our group chat that I'm so proud of. I'm going to tell the podcast.
You're going to do it again?
I've done it to the missus this morning as well.
What?
So our mate the other day was like, messaged our group chat being like, oh, my daughter was...
So close to starting the episode.
My daughter was born this morning. We're like, oh, congrats, blah, 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 how'd it go? And he was like, most traumatic couple of days of my life. It wasn't easy, boys, blah, blah, blah. We were all going, we were like, oh, yeah, no, don't worry, mate. If you ever need someone to chat to, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, thank God. And he just put a message being like, feeding well now. And I was like, good to hear, mate. How's the baby?
Whee!
Anyway.
Glee Club Birmingham tonight. Get down there if you can. What was that in relation to? Was that just you remember the gag that you've done? That is, to be fair, you do that. Just every time you get a funny gag that you've done. But yeah, I think you're going to enjoy this one. This is very strange. This is really like...
So this guy was suggested by Phil, and the guy we was talking about, he's a bit of an influencer.
He's an influencer. He's an American.
A Yank.
There's a lot to talk about in terms of why people are interested in him, which we can get to. It's very strange. I think you're going to enjoy it. This week, we're talking about Tony P.
Tony P.
In DC. Oi, get on this.
Ooh.
I think
that was an inquisitive kind of
get on this. I think Tony P in DC is kind of like the secondary school phenomenon of the fit girls taking one of the weird boys under their wing and kind of pretending to fancy him for a bit.
Did you mean say the gay boy?
No.
It would often be the case that those guys would later come out as gay.
Sometimes, yeah. No, I don't mean. I mean like.
But I know what you're saying. You're not saying gay best friend. You're saying that they'll find a kind of slightly quieter, vulnerable lad.
Yeah.
And they'll do a kind of glow up.
Yeah, exactly. And usually it would be that these people are very sexually unthreatening. And they would be kind of like lame, but then maybe they'd hold on to the hugs for a little bit too long. Someone would accuse them of having a boner, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Tony P is a similar scenario, and it made me think of the way that like Instagram, obviously, is a very obvious thing, but Instagram or online has become the world for kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like where they do their socializing now, a lot of them. But it's like all of these phenomenons are being exhibited in the world, and Tony P is like a version of it.
So is he kind of had a bit of a glow up? Is that?
Well, we'll do the first clip. I think we'll get into the first clip early because you need the context of what he does. But so Tony is a political consultant, I think, or maybe a management consultant that lives in Washington, DC. Mm-hmm. And I think he just started posting videos of his outfits that he would wear to work.
Okay.
And he would film them in quite an idiosyncratic way. And I'll just let you watch it, and then you can kind of tell me what you think.
We should tell the viewer, by the way, this is a rare one where one of us, I'm completely fresh towards it.
Yeah, and I wanted it to kind of be that way because I think I'd love to get your take on this. I think your take might be, what the fuck is that? But we'll find out. Right, this is the first one. So yeah, this is his classic.
Bloody hell.
So he's doing his navy suit to show subtle confidence and stability. This is just a normal suit, by the way. You can't see this. Oh. And so the arm rolls that he just did there, and he's doing again, that's his signature move. Aviators on. It's time to rock and roll. What do you make of that?
I really like that.
Yeah?
Now, I don't know whether this is kind of one of your observations, but this is very 80s.
Yeah. It's weird.
This is Vice City, man.
So
this is
this is Vice City.
This is like if you give him like what's the main character of Top Gun called?
Maverick.
Maverick.
Yeah.
Is that Tom Cruise's character?
Yeah.
I don't watch films. I can't read. But it's like if you give him Maverick an iPhone.
Yeah.
That's what he'd have made.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. And with him and Dan Bennett is another one. I think people enjoy when things don't quite match. So he's like young, but he's very old worldy, right? And he's very 80s and like so he also says he's a 25-year-old consultant.
He's 25.
He's saying that he's 25.
He's 25.
That's what he's claiming, yeah.
He's not. He's 25.
That's what he said. When he first started. So yeah, and like he's only just turned 25. Until very recently, it was my outfit as a 24-year-old consultant in DC, yeah. So he's kind of got this slightly strange vibe, right? That's rocked you to the core, hasn't
That
it?
sent me mad. Because again, this is like completely fresh to me. Do you know? Okay, so we did a kind of we did a sort of like do you know a writer called Bill Bryson?
Yeah.
He writes about America quite a lot.
Yeah.
We did a kind of amateur observations on America a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
Where who were we talking about? Was it?
We were talking about Coach Carnivore Cam, and you said that everyone in America liked to have cuckold sex.
No, it wasn't Coach Carnivore Cam. It was
it
Andy
not?
Elliott.
Oh, yeah, it was
He's
Andy
American.
Elliott. Sorry,
I was
it was Andy
like,
Elliott.
Coach Carnivore Cam's from Manchester. But
it's Andy Elliott, yeah, like the lost boys that flock to Andy Elliott.
Yeah. But this is another thing about Americans, and again, this is very suburban.
Very suburban.
This is very suburban. Do you know what I mean?
And he is like, it will kind of show later, there's a video with his family. He is like a really like middle America, nice bloke from Boston.
What's the Leonardo DiCaprio film with Matey from the Titanic that came out after the Titanic? Do you know what I mean? Where they have like a breakup in it.
Oh, I don't know.
They're like
married. Redemption Road or something like that.
Yeah. You know how they kind of play out what I guess was then the kind of like mid-90s suburban American dream.
I think it's earlier than that, isn't it? It's like the 60s or something.
Well, yeah, but it was
right.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. The kind of 60s. It's the American dream.
Yes.
Right. It's like get married at 21 to your childhood sweetheart that you took to the prom. Buy a suit. Get a job in an office. Drive a Chevy. Like, that's what this guy is kind of showing people. Isn't it? It's like, hey, I'm remote. Like in London, 24-year-olds don't own a suit. I mean, I'm fucking 31. I've not got one. I wear fucking pin ties to wear. But I this is.
They're so earnest, aren't they?
They're so earnest, but they're like, I don't know. I like they're so kind of like obsessed with the material. I mean, literally the material. He's going on about the fucking fabric. But
he has these funny little things where he says like, the suit projects subtle confidence and stuff like that.
And it's like there's a part of my sort of like neurotic, mildly alcoholic British brain that wants to grab him and be like, but you're not fucking confident, mate. Never mind the suit. You need to go to therapy. Like go and have a drink. And he's like, I don't drink.
Weeks, all 3 weeks have just ended with us going, you should go to therapy. Just go to therapy. Talking to ourselves.
But I guess what I'm trying to get at is like it is this kind of like keep smiling, wear the suit, drive the car, go to work. The boss is an ass, but it's okay. Watch the game at the weekend.
But
he's
literally that. He watches the game at the weekend. But like, so Tony P, he also like as this thing about positivity, and he's kind of egoless, right? I would never do that. I'd be so overthinking to be like, I'm not going to put a picture of me getting ready in a completely normal suit. Everyone will take the piss out of me. But he's done it, and obviously it does have that. Like I'm saying, it has that undertone of like, look at this bloody freak, he's an idiot.
Yeah,
Especially with the arm rolls and with the aviators and stuff, being like, this lame-o.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just lame-o. Like with the arm rolls and stuff, there's a small alarm bell going off in the back of my mind, being like, "Are we mocking someone who's autistic?"
No, it's not.
But I know what you mean. I think Americans often come across that way.
He's just so earnest.
Yeah, it's because they're so earnest, and I think what it is as Brits, we go like, fucking hell, where's your self-awareness? Like, why aren't you taking the mick at yourself? Why aren't you cringing? And it's because they don't cringe.
No.
And I think they're so kind of like cringeless that they seem autistic. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
It's because it feels as though they're missing a voice in their head being like, fucking hell, Tony. Like, what are you doing? You're rolling your arm. Like,
it's the voice of my granddad. Wind it in, Tony. You're an absolute wungin.
Exactly. And I think what I've done is I've mistaken that for autism, where it's actually just happy.
He's just happy. It's just completely mentally serene. Yeah.
There's a very telling thing about the normal British state that anyone who's just genuinely happy and is so happy with a navy suit that they want to film it. I think,
There's something wrong with him.
There's something wrong with him. You need some pills, mate. Get down the doctor.
And Tony P would be looking at us going like, why are you guys so sad all the time? Sat there like Beavis and Butthead, talking rubbish.
Hunched over on a fucking bench.
We want attention, Tony. We want attention and validation. Could you get someone to tell us we're funny, Tony? We're clever boys.
How many views is this one, Tony? Well, fucking not as many as his suit.
Well, this is the thing. So he that's how it started, right? This started as this kind of slightly oddity thing where it's like, it's funny because he's saying like, watch, get ready with me or whatever, but it's just a completely normal suit. And then he does the funny arm rolls. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. He's doing brand deals all over the place. And now, as with all of these people, he's developed this completely over like kind of messiah complex almost about what to do next. And he's come up with this philosophy, right? And it kind of really speaks to what you're just talking about, which is very interesting that you haven't seen this. So he's come up with a philosophy called vibrant masculinity. And he started talking about it. I would bet every penny I own he's going to release a book on vibrant masculinity soon. And this might be good for you. I think if you got on board with some vibrant masculinity, this could change your life.
I know I said this at the start. It still just sounds gay.
Third episode in a row where he said that as well. I'm going to have to edit all three of them out.
I don't think you have to edit that. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but like listen to it. Vibrant masculinity.
But listen to what he says,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So here we go. This is him talking about what does vibrant masculinity mean?
What is vibrant masculinity? Part 1. If I could distill vibrant masculinity
Please, Tony,
into
please
one
do.
sentence, it would be you can do both.
Do
and
both
what I
what?
mean by this is that you can love things like go to the gym. You can love, things like football and really kind of the more traditionally masculine things that we've seen in
The gym
society.
and football.
You can embrace those things and go all in.
Okay.
But at the same time, embracing new things like creativity, whether it be cooking or going to the theater or loving interior decoration. It's about expanding. It's about embracing new avenues of expression and also being comfortable within yourself and feeling that you want to really dive in and be passionate about those things as well. In terms of leadership, I always look at it this way. Instead of dominating control, uplift, connect, and inspire.
Wow.
Instead of suppressing emotion and keeping it deep down, it's about channeling it and expressing it in a very consistent and healthy way. Someone who truly captures the essence of vibrant masculinity is former basketball coach Jim Valvano, Jimmy V. When he said
Jimmy V.
that every day you should laugh, you should think, and you should cry or be moved emotionally every single day. If you have a day like that, that's
I
a
do,
full
but for
day.
other reasons. So that's vibrant masculinity. Well, I think that's so funny and touching because he's basically come up with like being a normal bloke. Like 30 years too late.
What was very funny is he was like, you can try new things like cooking.
Stuff that women would usually do.
Well, but I guess that's kind of it, isn't it? I mean, I guess this is like the, not to just go back over episodes, but like Andy Elliott, they kind of suggest this form of masculinity that's very kind of like gym focused and very kind of like sales figures.
No. But you can like the gym, but you can like interior decoration as well.
He feels like a Sopranos character.
Tony P.
Yeah. He feels like this is the last time I'm going to say this because I can tell you don't. He feels like a Sopranos character that Tony calls gay. But okay, right. What I'm asking you to do is imagine what would happen if he said that to like, I don't know, Andrew Tate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or said it to Andy Elliott, or said it to Tony Soprano, or even a softer version. Imagine if he said all of that to Tom Skinner.
Yeah.
Tom's going to be like, what the fuck you on about, mate?
What? My wife does the interior
And
decoration.
I mean, it's. I guess what he's talking about is masculinity, and we spoke a couple of weeks ago about like how, you know, masculinity's kind of been reclaimed, and being the alpha has been reclaimed, and that's what everyone wants to do now. Whereas this feels like maybe the next step, which is like the like it's like he said, some like mad ayahuasca breakthrough.
Yeah.
That you can actually like cooking and creativity.
But it made me feel like, because he's 25, so it's not like he's an old guy. Well, he claims he's 25, but it's like, I guess we maybe take for granted, like when we were growing up at school, it was normal. Like obviously there were people used like homophobic words and stuff like that, but it was pretty normal to be like, look, women don't have to. You don't have. Men don't have to.
Cooking. Yeah, I liked cooking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it was like that
yeah.
had already been done. My dad did loads of cooking at home. It wasn't like all those gender stereotypes have been broken down. And then you've got this 25-year-old in 2023 being like, guys, you can do cooking.
Do you know what? I think that's why it reminds me of Revolution Road.
Right.
Not just the kind of American dream. Hey, buy a shirt. Nice to own a suit, isn't it? Drive the car to work. At least the wife's home. Right? Because it feels like something you'd say in the 60s. Being like, it feels like something in the 60s. It feels like something that would come out after the war. Being like, hello, guys. The war is won. We beat the Russians and the Germans. And guess what? It's not gay to cook.
Well, also, you know, like when people, like in the olden days, when you look at pictures from the 60s and like because they lived hard lives, they'd be 25, but they'd look 45.
Yeah.
Maybe he's been like frozen in an ice cap or something and they've thawed him out and he's come out and he's like, wow, look at all these fancy motor cars. You guys can do cooking.
Well, it's always before. It does feel like he's kind of got like PTSD from like a fucking bomb going off. It does feel like he's fresh out of the army or something, doesn't it? Like, okay, so I've been away fighting in Afghanistan. Turns out you can buy a rug and not be gay. Okay, I like that.
I'm here to tell you folks that women can work in supermarkets.
Yeah. It's all right if your wife goes to work. Nothing to be embarrassed about there. Nice to own a tie.
And there's also a little bit of like the part of him that, and maybe this is unfair because he's trying to like break down these boundaries, but like he's like, if you taught an alien like what are men into, he's like, I like to do the manly stuff, football, going to the gym.
That's exactly it. I was literally just about to say that. It's literally like if Alien did like sent someone down to Earth to learn what a human man does, but they'd only done it in like an hour. They'd be like, fucking hell, yeah, okay, go, yeah, right, the gym, yeah, right, okay.
I think when people online say that women and men are equal, that gets a lot of traction.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Tony should say that women are allowed to go to work as well.
But again, it's like revelations that have been around for like nearly a century of like, guess what? It's creativity, colors. They're kind of nice, and he has got that kind of fixed expression of like a lizard person who's trying not to like lick a fly out of the air.
But this is the thing. He's working in Washington. I don't know if he's like I said, consultant. It could be like political consultant. Could be a management consultant. Like, surely all of the people in his office are like, all right, Tone, cheers, mate. Like, he's working with other 25-year-olds, and like he's going, hey, lady, I think you're as good as me at my job.
Yeah. But again, and this is again Jacob Hawley's dispatches from
America. Yeah, went once to Kentucky 7 years ago. Buckle up.
It's kind of normal to say they are a bit backwards. It's not that they are a bit backwards, but it's like they did vote in Trump in 2016.
Yeah, a guy's guy, famously. Big guys love big guys.
But it's also like, a guy from the 30s. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
he doesn't do his own laundry or any interior decoration. No, there are women to do that for him.
And it's like, but this is a revelation to a post-Trump America. Like, bear in mind, there are enough people like how you've just described Trump there. He doesn't do his own laundry. Does think that interior design is gay. Do you know what I mean? I don't imagine there's many women like working, or at least on equal pay. He did have a very 30s idea of what masculinity is.
And he was the president.
Well, exactly. Enough people agreed with him.
Yeah.
Fucking
maybe it's us. We're the dickless cucks that sat in Islington being like, everybody knows that women are like...
I think they are cavemen. I do think it's a country that shouldn't be trusted with a pair of scissors. But I will say, you and I are sat here going, fucking, of course it is. Like, what you want? How is this?
But maybe not, of course.
But there are Americans who've just come out of, and bear in mind, there'll be like young men who went through puberty, grew up with Trump.
Tony P.
If
Tony P is the age that he claims he is, Trump came in 2016, so he would have been like 16 when Trump started.
So he grew up in a world that was the 1930s. He grew up in a world where the president thinks that cooking's gay. Like, do you know what I mean?
I know you guys like to grab women by the pussy, but I'm here to say,
hey, guess what? You don't have to.
You don't have to. They don't like it, and you get fired from your job. That's Tony P's vibrant masculinity.
But this is the thing. There are probably jobs where you wouldn't get fired from your job for doing that. Like, that's the whole point. Is like if the president was saying it's all right, everyone thought it was all right. Whereas now, it's exactly as you say. It's like a caveman has been let loose in like it's like a werewolf in New York City. It's like an animal. It's just kind of woken up and going,
I've actually found that recently, since I started being nice to the women in my life, that it's brought me a whole new lease of life.
Yeah, exactly. It is that kind of thing of like, it's like in Toy Story when the toys come to life. If the toys only came to life under like a sort of Trump administration that there was like sexist, homophobic and everything like that, then they'd think that's the way to be. And then suddenly like, I mean, I'm not saying it's like Biden has made everything all right again, but I don't know, maybe they sort of poke their head out from under the rock and they're going, oh, I can buy a green tie. It's that kind of like I think that's what's so like endearing about him is the kind of wide-eyed fascination, the sort of childlike discovery of like very normal,
being
like
completely normal,
like 1960s equality politics. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah.
I mean, like Tony, you're gonna have to do a lot of more learning, mate. We've moved on to other discussions and debates now. We're
so far past that we've gone through the looking glass and we're going right wing now. We're so far.
I'm not sure I agree with Tony actually.
Yeah. Well, we can't often cooking his gay, no, I'm joking, but like it is that kind of thing. That's kind of what's happening in Britain, though.
Yeah.
Like we are, veering. I mean, I don't know. Politically is a longer discussion, but like we've kind of done that, and now we're veering back the other way. And I think this is why it's so weird to us because we're sort of looking over our shoulder, being like, "Fucking keep up, Tony. We've already done that. Like the woke thing happened to us years ago. We're fed up with it now. We're going back the other way." Like,
vibrant masculinity. Would you say you're a vibrant? You're an adherent to the philosophy.
So what is it? What's the
it's liking football and liking interior decoration at the same time. Lady stuff and man stuff. Crying but being strong.
Well, to kind of like continue what I'm saying, like I think I used to.
Yeah.
But I think I am. I don't know. Getting.
You did tell me earlier that your partner does the cleaning because she likes it.
I'll fucking out you. I've read the emails that you send to the customer service reps who do our editing software. Right. God, I feel like I have this breakdown every fucking episode we do. Okay, I'm at a point in my life. I've got 2 very young children. My missus has kind of just gone back to work. Time is tight.
Time poor.
We're time poor. I haven't got time to fucking try on a new green tie. Do you know what I mean? I don't have time to get into creativity and cooking. I'm struggling to do my job.
Have a bit of toast where you can.
So I think what kind of happens with it, and I think this is what a lot of like. It's interesting because this is a kind of like pre-culture war phenomenon,
right?
Tony P. Do you know what I mean? It's like as I say, in Britain we've had him, and now we're at a stage where
we had him in like 1992.
Well, yeah, exactly. And now we're at a stage where like most of like modern daytime television is kind of debate shows like Jeremy Vine or fucking Piers Morgan, where they're sort of unflappable host goes, right guys, today we've got a guy who is basically Tony P going, I like cooking, and now we've got another guy who thinks that cooking's for fucking weirdos and men should work in mechanics, right? Fight.
Yeah. And will anything be solved? Absolutely not.
No. But I think there's a kind of like higher thing. There's a kind of like position above that where it goes, well, it's not really a moral thing of whether men want to do one or the other. Like, and also you don't have to love the gym so much that you become Andrew Tate and start people trafficking. Like, you can just go, well, what's practical, what works, blah blah blah. And do I want to? Okay. As you said, my missus prefers doing the cleaning. I do all the cooking.
Yeah.
I cook everything. She
And-
doesn't fucking cook, and it's annoying because she makes a banging dal. She does like a kind of dal makhani.
Right.
You know, that's like the butter.
She's withholding it. She's not giving it.
She'd use these black beans that she'd go to like the Asian supermarkets to get. Fucking banging. I haven't had one in 2 years.
No. Having to eat your slop that you're preparing.
Yeah, exactly. I'll send you pictures of it sometime. But so okay. Do I sign up to the? Without wanting to sound arrogant, I don't think I really need vibrant masculinity because.
But this is a theme, right? We've come back to this. A lot of the people are trying to sell you an all-encompassing worldview where it's like very black and white. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, do this, follow this. Like Andy Elliott, get a six-pack, do this thing. It's like we've always said. I think the message of this podcast is it's probably somewhere in between. Just work it out for yourself.
Yeah. Just look out for yourself.
Just work it out for yourself. Do you know what I mean? You don't need Tony P. If you're looking for a philosophy from Tony P, you need your head checking.
Yeah. I mean, like, he does look like a kind of like action man, like a kind of like like a toy that's come to life.
And the next video, the last video, this is a kind of slightly different on him being like a kind of, like you say, action figure, a middle American looking guy. This one, he goes home for a cousin's wedding, and
always a cousin.
It's always a cousin's wedding.
They love their cousins.
They love
in
it.
America.
They can't get enough of the cousins. One of my cousins is getting married, and you can just see here, right? What I'd want us to watch this video. I probably won't watch all of it because it's quite long. This is what happens when your son or your nephew accidentally becomes a massive influencer, and then every time you go out for dinner with him, he's got his fucking phone out, and you can see these people contending with what's going on.
Yeah, right.
And so, like, this is
and I guess they're not part of that because they're not from a city, right? So they're not.
Yeah, I think they're from just outside Boston or something, and it's just like they probably have no frame of reference to be like, Tony got famous for putting his suits on. It's like they have no idea what's going on.
So funny.
And it's just like, yeah, you can imagine going. Like kind of Chinese whispers through the family of like the aunt going to the uncle. So yeah, Tony put a suit on Instagram and now he's famous. It's completely mental, right?
Has he been on TV?
Is he on the Wheel of Fortune? Right, here we go. Oh, I've lost it. Give me 1 sec. All right, here we go. Family wedding.
A weekend in my life as a 25-year-old bachelor in D.C. On Friday, I started things off early with a quick trip to Target to pick up a new video tripod before heading over to Duffy's Diner in Haverhill, Mass. to meet my Uncle Mark for breakfast. It was my first time seeing him in a few months, and as always...
I'm just going to stop it. I'm just going to pause it because I'm going to put that image of his uncle up there. His uncle is just thinking...
It looks like he's never seen a phone before.
So good, isn't it? He's out for with my Uncle Mark.
And now he's filming himself talking to him.
It was my first time seeing him in a few months, and as always, he provided me with his sage wisdom and advice. Afterwards, Pops and I went on a road trip to Pennsylvania for my cousin's wedding weekend. It was a smooth ride overall, and it was great to have some quality time. We even stopped at a local pizza spot in New York to refuel before arriving in the Poconos. At night, I headed to my first event of the wedding weekend, the welcome party, where I hung out with my cousins before we capped off the night at the hotel arcade with some fierce competition. On Saturday, it was the wedding day, and I kicked it off with a family breakfast at the hotel buffet, where I even indulged in eating some Fruit Loops with my spread before getting dressed for the big day. I arrived to the ceremony early to set up, as I had the honor of serving as videographer for the wedding, and I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. After the beautiful and heartfelt ceremony, it was time for the reception, where I managed to both chronicle the occasion while unleashing on the dance floor with the family in a night to truly remember. I ended the night with a stop at the wedding after party, where I caught up with the newlyweds before heading to bed. On Sunday, Pops and I made the trek back to Massachusetts before watching the Patriots finally achieve victory against the Bills on TV. At night, I drove into Boston to stay at the Hilton Logan Airport Hotel, where I grabbed some dinner and enjoyed an invigorating swim at the pool, as well as some relaxation time in the hot tub.
What are his family thinking as he's doing all of that?
Have you noticed he stands against cynicism? He's against our cynicism.
He's completely egoless and he's completely positive. He's like a shiny pebble that's never been touched. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's like a completely smooth. Yeah, we're like a little gnarled pine cone. We're a conker. I think if you said to him, Tony, mate, you're a cunt, it would just bounce off of him. Thank you. I am.
Imagine him trying to do this podcast. Imagine I was sick next week and you got Tony P to do it, and you were like, "What do you think of fucking up when you came?" You'd be like, "He's a great businessman who has solutions. Let's grab a pizza and refuel." Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine him. You'd be like, "No, he's a murderer. That guy may have been innocent. Let's watch the next clip, Jake." Like,
What do you think about Andy Elliott? He's a lovely guy with a big six-pack.
Yeah.
Tony? Tony?
It's almost like the American government have created an advert for being normal. And it's this.
Have you ever wanted to be normal?
It's literally this. It's like, hey, there are a lot of people out there turning to prescription drugs and homelessness. Why not get a job and be happy like Tony? I go to cousin's wedding, smile with dad, eat some dinner, invigorating swim, headphones on. I don't ever think about killing someone.
Do you ever think about death? No, I don't.
Yeah.
And I think that...
You know how there's like adverts for like BetterHelp?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like when you listen to podcasts sometimes, you get adverts for therapy. This is like the opposite. Here's an advert for not needing therapy.
Do you ever want to not think about death? But but the people watching him are ironic, cynical bedroom freaks that have been like, "Oh, look at Tony."
Well, in England,
Yeah.
In England they are.
Maybe in
I suspect
America.
in America they're like, Tony's great.
Yeah, Tony's the man.
Yeah,
I like him. I think he's doing. I'm not sure I'm going to get on board with vibrant masculinity because I think it's the most kind of like basic thing I've ever heard. But overall, we all need a bit of positivity in our lives, don't we? No. Okay, we don't.
My brain can't do this.
No.
Like genuinely, I'm having to fight blocks in my brain to accept that this is real, and my brain is constantly trying to tell me things about this man that make me dismiss him. Like the start of the episode, I was like, "Is he gay? Was he?" And then for a while, I was like, "He's autistic." Now I've got to be honest with you, I was watching this thinking like this feels like the kind of like strange opening scene of like the latest Jeffrey Dahmer film, and he's gonna go and murder and eat a prostitute at the end of the video.
Yeah. We started looking into Tony P because although he appeared normal online, he was actually biting people's feet on the train.
Yeah. He was looking under. He was going through the hotel looking for toenail clippings in the bins. Like I don't know. Like my brain is refusing to accept.
Well, here's one for you. Is there any chance that this isn't real? There would be a lot of budget going into it, but this has the slight feel to me of American, like slightly oddball American comedian. It's a bit Nathan Fielder, isn't it?
So I'm going to propose to you a British equivalent now.
Yeah. Is it me?
No. But it's someone who is kind of playing a character. Can you guess?
No.
Can you guess? It's someone that I put in the group chat. Just quickly go.
Playing a character.
Kind of playing a character, but it's a bit like this. You ready?
Go on.
Pussy Man Dan.
Oh, him. He's the guy that does
the guy on Twitter who he's like a Leicester fan, and he sort of like does like really like faux earnest tweets about the Lionesses and stuff. But and he'll do like he'll put a picture up being like "End War Now," and it's just him sort of like stood laughing with quite like But it's that kind of like wide-eyed, playing the simpleton, constantly smiling, like socially unaware, like. Do you know what I mean by that comparison? I don't know if you've watched much Pussy Man Dan or if you've seen enough
I
of him
haven't
to
watched
kind of
much Pussy Man Dan. No, I haven't said the name Pussy Man Dan in a while.
But
either.
again, it's a similar thing of like suburb-based kind of like grin, like pretend you live it. But Pussy Man Dan's a character.
But Tony's real.
Is he?
Do you think it's better?
I don't know. There might.
Maybe.
I do wonder. In the same way that if you showed, maybe we'll do Pussy Man Dan.
Stop saying Pussy Man Dan.
It calls himself. No, we can't because that's a character. So it's like, we don't do character. But like in the same way that I think if you showed Pussy Man Dan to an American, they'd be like, "Fucking English guy, this guy's crazy." Like in the same way that we're doing that with him, Americans might be like, "This isn't real. This is fucking nuts.
This
None
is
of us
mental.
are like this."
If I could say to you, I could do a little switch in your brain. And you will just become. You won't become Tony P, but you'll have Tony P's mentality, but in your warped, cynical brain. Would you choose that life?
So essentially,
Kind of like an ignorance is bliss scenario.
Yeah.
That would be really sad. I'd have to say goodbye to you before I flick the switch.
Well, it's kind of
Jacob, when I flick this switch, you're not going to remember me.
It's like it was.
You're not going to remember the podcast, but you're going to be happier.
I think if I could offer you that, ignore all the other stuff. If I could just say to you, I'm going to press a button and you could forget the podcast happens, you would be happier.
When I sign, Alana's going to be happier.
It feels like the Truman Show.
Yes, that's it. That's what I've been trying to work out. He's the Truman. He's Truman.
He's Truman. He's Truman. And I like the kind of metaphor for the Truman Show is like, you know, when you peel behind the curtain and see the horrors of the world, you're unhappier.
Yeah.
Tony P's never looked behind. I need to call him Pussy Man.
Pussy Man Tony.
Pussy Man Dan is the Truman Show of the UK. No, like Tony P is like it's Truman, isn't it?
Truman.
He's literally Truman. Like he is Truman. That's literally
everything's great. Everything's the best day you've ever had.
Yeah. How's it going, neighbour?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's literally the Truman Show. And essentially, like the philosophical question that you're asking is, if I could kind of hide all the horrors of the world and you could just walk around grinning like a fucking idiot going to your cousin's wedding, would you, or would you want to take the red pill and be aware of what's going on?
Yeah.
It's almost like the Matrix. All I'll say to you is that I have an electro bong.
Yeah,
that
I'm trying to do
doing
that.
My fucking best, mate. I've got window plugs in my fucking bedroom. I've got wooden panels I put over the windows to try and stop the noise
So
coming in.
good.
I'm doing my fucking best.
That's amazing. I hope that one day I come round, like Goodwill Hunting. You know where he says, like, I hope that one day I come and I knock on your door to do the podcast, and you come to the door, glassy-eyed. You've electro-bonged yourself into Tony P. Maybe we'll do an episode next week. Maybe we won't. Hopefully, Jacob will be at his cousin's wedding, having an invigorating swim with his dad. But if not, we'll be back here with another horrible content creator. See you next week.